Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is not your first time, if this is your first time, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dami and I want to build a community here. So please subscribe, like, or comment. So guys, today's topic is such a sensitive one. I think I've had this topic for about 3-4 years written. It's called it's emotional invalidation. Most of us have suffered emotional invalidation one way or the other. Like I said, this channel is going to be centered around real life events, real life feelings, real life experiences, mine or other people's. When we talk about emotional invalidation, it's it might be a new term to some people, or it might be a new word. I'm sure most of us have had people throw around the word, oh, invalidate, invalidate. When we talk about emotional invalidation, it's so sensitive that um except you're the person whose emotions or whose feelings or whose experiences or whose trauma has been invalidated, you might not even know how bad or how sensitive the topic might be. I'm sure that in the course of this video, if you're a victim, you can relate, and then over time we might talk about solutions around it. Like I said, I welcome suggestions. I welcome what people want me to talk about. If you've had a real life experience and you want me to share, you can send a DM or an email. Let's just rub minds together. If you've had a solution, if you found a solution to, you know, your emotions being invalidated, you can also share. But for today, I'm just going to do a general enlightening on this topic, and I sincerely hope that it makes someone stay. They come across this video, and you've just had one or two experiences, or maybe even patterns of people, not paying attention to your emotions. So I like to work with things that I jot down a lot. It says here that emotional invalidation is the rejection or dismissal of a person's thoughts, feelings, emotions, or experiences. Invalidation can cause significant damage or upset to a person's psychological health and well-being. Something as small as something as basic as this, you'd never imagine that it could affect someone's psychology. For example, now, let's say someone talks to you about their experience, maybe their childhood traumas, their traumas in a relationship, their experiences on their job, or it could be any part of their lives. And then maybe because you've been through worse experiences, maybe because you've had worse situations, you're like, no, yours couldn't have been so bad. Yours could have been so bad. But that's not true. Trust me, people have it worse. I know some of us have had worse experiences, but I want you to know that when you invalidate someone's emotions, you could throw them into a lifelong darkness, loneliness, where they might never get to speak about any experience ever again, either to a therapist or to anybody, to family or anything. Why? Because you didn't pay attention to what they say they've been through or what they've actually been through. Now, let me give you a scenario. I've had people talk about childbirth, and when you're trying to explain your own experience, they're like, oh, it couldn't have been bad. Oh, mine is worse. Like, or maybe you're talking about your school days, or maybe your hustling days, your struggling days, your grass to grace days. Maybe you're in a bad relationship, bad marriage, bad friends, you got into a bad business. When somebody is trying to tell you about what they've been through, when you shove it off, or when you try to make it look like it's not really a big deal, or when you don't even listen or pay attention, that's invalidating what those people have been through. That's you invalidating their experiences, and it could lead to a psychological damage, maybe mentally, or even their self-esteem can be affected. And you know what, some of the things we actually love to play around with way long way. Do you understand? If you're a teacher and you invalidate your students' feelings, you could damage them for life. If you're a doctor, if you're in HR, you could be anybody. You could be someone's neighbor, someone's friend. You could be anybody to them. You could even be any. See, it might just be a random person you meet, and you're trying to invalidate their feelings. I know that most of us also have our experiences that we want to talk about and everything, but something I really think helps is first acknowledging that someone has actually been through this and they are talking about it. What do I mean? I mean, for somebody to open up their mouth, they're not chasing clout. I know some people talk about their experiences to chase clout or just to gain societal status or boost their ego. But when someone is genuinely talking about their struggles or their traumas or anything that has hurt them or try to affect their journey in life, I think it's only fair to listen to them. Sometimes you might not even have the right words for them, but do not invalidate their emotions. It's really, really unfair when you invalidate someone's emotions, someone's experiences. Sometimes you might not really like the person telling you stuff, but listening way long way. You don't even have to listen to reply. You can just listen to understand, listen to their experience, and understand that you know what, this can actually happen to someone. Just because it does not happen to you doesn't mean it doesn't happen to someone, or just because you've had it worse does not mean that anybody can have it worse than you've had it, because life happens to all of us in different ways. You can't say that what someone has been through is not a big deal. You can't say, oh, it couldn't have been that bad. You can't say, oh, it couldn't have been that bad now. It couldn't have been that, you know. In Nigeria, we have a slang like, no be your worst pass. Person worst pass your own. And it means that yours is not the worst experience. We've had people with worse experiences. So today, emotional invalidation is what I've just come to shed light on. In coming weeks, I'm gonna share real life experiences of people that have shared their stories with me over the years, and I have their permission to share their stories, and we'll see how people invalidating their feelings really made the issue or made the matters worse, made their healing worse. You know, they couldn't move forward, they couldn't get past it. You know, it's not every one of us that's got this this strength to self-heal or self-soothe. Everybody heals at different pace. So that you've watched this video today, I want you to share it with anybody that you know that they are going through one thing or the other. In fact, this video might even make you remember someone that has had to confide in you or speak to you, and you kind of, you know, threw their experiences into the trash, or you know, you just invalidate their feelings or their experiences. You might just, you know, cast your mind back and get back to them and say, hey, what's up? You know what, I've just looked back at our discussion that we had about this, and I'm really sorry that I didn't pay attention, or I listened to reply instead of listening to understand. I want you to understand that your feelings they're valid, you know. I want you to understand that being human starts first with understanding that people's experiences differs, and when they've decided to talk about it, or when they decide to talk about it, it's really fair that we don't invalidate their experiences. We don't just throw their emotions round, just because some of us are, we've been built different, we've been built tough. It doesn't mean that other people couldn't go through that stuff, or just because you've gone through worse situations doesn't mean that someone going through a mild situation different from what you experienced is not valid enough. And like I said in the beginning, it people might be sharing their experiences not because they necessarily need an advice, or maybe because they even need a safe space, but because they just want to talk about it. You don't know whether it will ease the burden or something. But when you now invalidate it, you could cause a psychological problem to them. You could actually affect how they see life going forward. So it will mean a lot to people when we don't invalidate their emotions, whatever experience they've been through or they are going through. It's really fair that we validate their emotions and their experiences. It doesn't matter whether we've had it worse or we've had it better. It just what just matters at that very moment, or when you eventually think about it, is that somebody has been through this and they've decided to share it. And another thing I really think is very um very synonymous with people that decide to share their experiences and we don't invalidate their emotions is that when you listen to them, you never can say sometime in the future their stories or their survival stories might be your guide or someone's guide around you in the future. You'd be like, you know what, when you're done listening to the person, instead of not invalidating the person's emotions like you used to in the past, this time you've listened to someone before now, and then now you can now prefer solutions, or maybe even if you don't have solutions, you can tell someone that, you know what, I know someone that's been in your shoes and this is what the person did, what the person did. I'm not saying you must do it, so I'm just telling you that you're not the first person to go through this, and I know you're going to get through this, instead of telling them that you're not the first person to go through this, so you know. I like to say something a lot, like in all that you do, you have to be human first. Whether you're having a good day or a bad day, just be human first. Just listen. you know when somebody says, oh, I'm having a bad day, just listen. When somebody says, I've had a bad life, just listen. Don't invalidate what they said they felt. Do you understand? I think that I don't want to be going back and forth on this topic for today, because like I said, it's just the general um shedding of light on the topic. When I've gotten the right time to share people's stories and how people invalidating their emotions or their experiences how really affect how they could have healed, or the healing process. I think it's going to, you know, give us better details of how bad it can get when we don't pay attention, or when we invalidate someone's experiences. Also, if this is your first time of coming across the topic emotional invalidation, I want you to, and you have something you want to say, you can just send a personal message to me, or you can send an email to me. My Instagram handle is Olori underscore Damilola. You could just, it's going to be showing on your screen right now, or you can send me a message on Facebook at Olori Damilola. or you can send an email to me. All my social media details will be displaying on your screen right now. Thank you once again for listening, for subscribing. Subscription, please make sure you subscribe to this channel, because like I said, this channel is going to be centered around real life events and how we can get through it without committing suicide or something. You know, it's just going to be a community where every one of us share our experiences. We comment, someone sees your comment, they read it, and you know, everything, it just gets better. Life is already too serious, you know. So say something in the comments, let me know what you think about this topic, and I'll see you next Friday. Thank you.